No Recipe Required. I'm Dave, and tonight I'm going to show you how to do a traditional, classic French Coq Au Vin. Now, what that essentially is chicken stewed in red wine with a bunch of vegetables. It's one of those slow-cooked dishes that, frankly, before I made it, I wasn't really excited about. But then the first time I did, wow, absolutely blew me away. Chicken gets nice and tender and juicy and moist. The vegetables pick up great flavors, and then I like to serve mine on a little bit of polenta, which just kind of soaks up all that wonderful juice and makes it absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and show you how to do it.
Okay, so to start our Coq Au Vin, I've just bought a whole chicken. I'm going to do 2 batches where we're going to brown off all the pieces, skin side down first, seasoned on both sides, salt and pepper. You don't really want to move it. We're not going to cook the chicken all the way through here. We're just trying to get a nice caramelized color on both sides. That's going to add a tremendous amount of flavor to our finished dish. Okay, so you can probably hear all the snap, crackle, and popping going on. To brown the meat, you want to make sure, you leave it alone. You get that nice caramelized color on one side, then you flip it over, and then same procedure. You don't flip it around, you don't mess with it, you're just going to get it over. You may have to, do more than 2 sides, right? That's like 1 side, 2 sides. You may have to stack it up like that for a while to get, the 3rd or 4th side. The key is just to get nice and caramelized all the way around. In this case, I'm really trying to render that fat down and create some beautiful flavor at the bottom of the pan. Okay, so my 2 pieces of breast meat are nicely browned. I've still got some of my other pieces in there, like I said, because I'm doing it in batches. And now I'm adding my bacon. Now, I wouldn't add vegetables while you're browning meat because vegetables have water. Water heats up, you're going to end up steaming your meat. But something like bacon, or I think more traditionally, Coq Au Vin is like salt pork, is absolutely fine. I'm using nice thick cut bacon and frankly cut into pretty big pieces because they're going to cook down. We'll get them nice and kind of crisp, rendered out, and then they're going to stew along with the chicken. They're going to give off a ton of that great kind of smoky, salty flavor, and they're going to get nice and super tender in there as well. So I'm just going to push those down, kind of same principles apply. Try not to have overlaps or anything laying on top of each other. And I'm just going to cook my chicken until it is kind of fully browned, and then the bacon until it's rendered out. Okay, so after your bacon is rendered out, you may need to get in there. Some pieces may be a little more cooked than others. You can pull them out individually, or you can just kind of be a little more attentive and pull them out. When they're done though, just pull them out, stack them next to your chicken, and then drain most of the fat. Not all of it. There's going to be quite a bit in there, but save it. Don't throw it away because it's really good stuff, and we may need it later on. I'm going to do that. We're going to come back and saute off some vegetables. Okay, so drained out most of the oil, but not all of it, because we're going to saute off a mirepoix, carrot, onion, celery. And I like to do this over kind of low heat, at least for a little bit, because we've got all that wonderful flavor down in the bottom of the pan. And you don't really want to burn that. What's going to happen is the liquid, as it comes out of these vegetables, will essentially just deglaze the pan for you. And so to just allow that to happen, I turn down the heat to like medium-low, add some salt like I just did, which will help break down the vegetables, and every minute or so, just come back and stir. You can also throw the lid on for the first 5 minutes or so, and that'll help get those juices flowing in there. So I threw in a couple garlic cloves. I've also had the cover on the what do you call this? The pot. And just stir it every couple minutes, like I said, to pull up some of that fond, which is on the bottom. If it's not working for you, or if it's going too slow, you can always just toss in a little bit of water, and that'll help release some of the some of the drippings that have stuck to the bottom. You want to get the kind of onions. Just I cut them really big because these are they're going to be kind of tossed onions. They're giving up their flavor to the chicken, but we're not really going to eat them, so you can really coarsely chop them. I like to get them to where they're just on the edges, starting to brown a little bit, and then we're going to come back, we're going to add our wine, our stock, some other ingredients, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so my onions just caramelized slightly. I've had to add water a couple times just to prevent everything or anything from burning on the bottom. Not a big deal if you do so. I just threw in the thyme, which is one of the key flavors in here. Then I'm going to add back my chicken and the bacon and just add all that right on top of the vegetables. Again, you try and do one layer so that everything will sit down in the broth the way it should. And then we're going to come back and hit it with our wine. I'm using a nice Pinot. Pinot Noir is pretty traditional. Burgundy would be uber traditional. I'm going to add almost the whole bottle. Just enough to cover kind of a little less than halfway. And then I'm going to add stock to cover up to like 90% or so. I'm going to season with salt, pepper, throw our bay leaves in. We'll go 3 bay leaves, it's pretty big. And then cover, and you just want to simmer this over super low heat. Don't boil it, that'll dry out the meat. You can do it in the oven, you can do it on the stovetop, however you do it, just make sure it's a light simmer. Probably going to sit here for an hour and a half. So traditionally, you cook some mushrooms along with Coq Au Vin. But I've got to think about mushrooms kind of braising for a long time in liquids. Not the greatest. And you know, some of the other vegetables like the carrots and the onions, I find them, they get overcooked. So what I do is I actually cook a set off separately that I'm going to serve with the chicken. Totally optional step. You don't need to do it, but it's one that I like. If you do so, start off with your mushrooms in a you know, kind of medium heat pan. Nice olive oil in there, salt and pepper, if I can find the pepper. And I'm just going to let these cook down for probably 20 minutes. And they're going to lose a lot of the moisture that's in there. And then we're going to pull them, actually we're not going to pull them off, we're going to add some onions and some carrots in here. And that's going to be the vegetable component for our Coq Au Vin. So after our mushrooms have cooked down for like 20 minutes, you see they're probably half the size, nice caramelized edges. I'm just going to add some carrot and onion. I'm going to serve those with the, what are we serving? The Coq Au Vin as well. A little bit more olive oil, a little bit more salt. I'm going to cover these and just let them kind of saute for, on medium-low for about 15 minutes or so. Everything will start getting nice and soft. Okay, so after like 20 minutes covered, you're going to get everything kind of cooked down. It's softened up. Even some of my onions are starting to caramelize a little bit. They're certainly clear. Just kill the heat, let it all calm down. They're actually not fully cooked. If you were to take a knife, so my carrots are fully cooked. So that means we're not going to have to cook them all that much in the broth itself, but they're absolutely done. We're just going to kind of finish them when we're ready with our Coq Au Vin with the sauce, and then serve these right around our delicious little chicken pieces. Okay, so I'm not going to eat all the chicken tonight, so I just pulled off what I need along with the sauce, and then I got rid of our old vegetables that have been cooking for hours and drained them out of the sauce, then put in the vegetables that we cooked off. And here I've got some cornstarch and water that I mixed together. I'm just going to slowly add it like tablespoon at a time and let the broth kind of come up to a boil. And that sauce is going to thicken as I add the cornstarch in. And I'm just going to continue to do this until it comes to a nice kind of sauce consistency. Make sure you bring it to a boil, and then we're ready to serve it up. Okay, so I'm serving my Coq Au Vin with a little bit of polenta. And you want to take the chicken pieces. Mine's kind of broken up a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Along with some of that delicious sauce and veggies, and just lay them right over top, and you've got this beautiful, wonderful slow cooked chicken dish stew. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.